The Witcher 3 is the third installment in the Witcher video game series, based on the fantasy novel series of the same name, which was recently adapted into a series on Netflix. This all sounds very daunting, but the good news is, you don't need to have any past experience with Witcher-related content to play and enjoy The Witcher 3. In fact, for many people, it's their entry point into the series as a whole. In a bold choice, different from many RPGs, you play as a preset character.
I'm Geralt of Rivia. I'm a Witcher.
Having a set character instead of one you can customize for yourself can be a turn-off for many players, as if the character you're forced to play as is boring and unlikable, it can make the game much less appealing. Fortunately, Geralt is far from a bland, cookie-cutter protagonist, and is widely considered among the best in gaming. Geralt, as you might have guessed from the title, is a Witcher, a mutant raised from childhood for the specific purpose of hunting monsters. A necessary job in a world crawling with dangerous creatures, but also one that attracts the ire and distrust of the common people, many of whom see the Witchers as simply another monster to be feared. It's widely believed that in the process of becoming a Witcher, the few that survive the deadly trial of grasses lose the ability to feel human emotions. A rumour that Geralt finds convenient and readily accepts, imposing upon himself a strict code. Geralt will never kill any sentient creature that doesn't attack him first, going as far as to turn down contracts that impede his code, which is a big sacrifice for a Witcher to make considering it's their only means of making money, though it's clear from the game that this rumour about Witchers lacking emotions is nothing more than that. Geralt displays a range of emotions, with his main goal in the Wild Hunt being to rescue his adopted daughter Ciri at any cost. It's not just Geralt, every major character in this game is iconic, with their own conflicting set of ideologies, beliefs and ambitions which can lead to conflict if you pick options that directly oppose or antagonize them. The fates of many of the game's characters are determined by the choices you make, and it isn't always obvious how a certain choice will play out. The game itself has several different endings, encouraging lots of replayability. Throughout the game, there are a few missions where you play as Ciri, as Geralt learns more about what she's been doing. This might sound annoying as you lose access to all your gear and the ability to fast travel in these missions, but they in my opinion have some of the most exciting gameplay, as Ciri's combat style of zipping around the map and hacking enemies to pieces is immensely satisfying, and I'm hoping they keep this aspect of her fighting style in the upcoming Witcher 4. Witchers are not mindless fighting machines. They prepare extensively for every contract they take, which is reflected in the gameplay. Geralt carries two swords, one of silver for monsters, and one of iron for humans. In addition to this, he can employ the use of 5 basic signs in combat. Ard sends out an air blast, knocking back anything in its path. This can be used to push back enemies, disrupt their attacks, push them off high ledges, or clear the path ahead of obstacles. Axii can control people's minds. In dialogue, it can be used to make NPCs do what you want to without any conflict or having to pay their steep prices. And in combat, it can temporarily daze enemies, or even turn them into allies if you upgrade it enough. Igni is the most combat-oriented spell, blasting enemies with fire that can do burn damage over time, but is also used to light the way in dark places. Quen is a shield, allowing you to tank the first attack that hits Geralt without taking any damage, and Erden is a magic trap that freezes enemies, allowing for a free attack. These different signs can all be upgraded and modified depending on your playstyle. Swords and armour can also be customized with runestones that apply status effects and buffs. And then there is of course the mutagen system. As you earn experience and level up, you unlock more mutagen slots, allowing you to upgrade your combat power, sign intensity and vitality depending on your preference, and use skill points to gain access to new abilities. There is a surprising amount of customability to the gameplay despite being a preset character, and not to mention all of the different swords and armors that can be found throughout the world and unlocked through different quests. The last aspect of the gameplay you need to know is alchemy, which in lore is a big part of being a Witcher. Potions can increase strength and regenerate health, while sword oils can be applied to your weapon to do additional damage against certain types of enemies. This aspect of the game can be easily ignored, especially early on, as you really have to go out your way to find certain recipes. But if you want to really immerse yourself into the world and prepare and fight as Geralt would, you need to use the bestiary to research different monsters and prepare accordingly. All that being said, I wouldn't call combat this game's selling point. It certainly serves its purpose, but the real appeal of Witcher 3 is the quests. Even the minor optional quest lines are more fleshed out and engaging than most other games I've played, with many twists and turns, branching paths and moral choices for the player to consider. There is rarely a simple bad and good outcome to a quest, but rather different shades of grey the player is forced to pick between. One of Geralt's most famous quotes is, "If I'm to choose between one evil or another, I'd rather not choose at all." But time and time again he has to make that call. Some quests can also directly lead into another in unexpected ways. I remember one example of this which completely caught me by surprise was a seemingly simple Witcher contract I found while out exploring the world. Searching for more Gwent cards to add to my deck, of course. Oh, don't get me started on Gwent. It's a whole separate minigame so addictive I could spend a whole video just talking about that instead.
Superb match.
I decided I'd do one last quest before calling it a day. However, this somehow resulted in Geralt getting thrown in jail and put on trial for murder. Flash forward to an hour later and I was at the bottom of a giant cave system beneath a remote island fighting the manifestation of Geralt's greatest fear. This entire questline is completely optional and easily missable, but the devs even go so far as to call back to it in dialogue in later questlines. That's how detailed and thought out all of the questlines in this game can be. My favourite of which being the Bloody Baron's story, which I don't want to spoil a single second of. Seriously, go out and buy this game and experience it for yourself. It's not expensive at all, especially when compared to the price of games today. The quality of the writing and storytelling is not diminished in either of the DLCs, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, which I fully recommend to anyone who enjoys the base game. From buying all three on sale for less than 25 quid, I got more than 100 hours of gameplay. I feel like I owe CDPR money. I basically stole from them at that price. To finish off, I just want to mention that the voice acting and soundtrack for this game are amazing, and the product as a whole wouldn't be nearly as good as it is without them. Geralt's voice actor in particular knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, I'm a wild and crazy guy.
The Polish chanting that kicks in whenever you get into a combat encounter is also amazing, making it really feel like you're in an epic struggle against evil, when actually you're just clearing out a random monster nest to farm their mutagens. But in the end, all of that, the gameplay, the story, the questlines, the soundtrack, the voice acting, it's all just a distraction from the real game. Gwent.